This is The Gorge. It's a podcast where my friend Sara and I gorge ourselves on a topic.
The Gorge is brought to you by Patreon. That's patreon.com/thegorge, where for just $5 a month you gain access not one, but two entire podcasts. I have not forgotten how to do this intro. $5 gets you Takeout, a monthly commentary track where Ben and I decide we don't feel like playing something, so we just watch something and talk over it instead and save ourselves the trouble. And $2 gets you Praetorium Pals, a monthly series where Ben, Saturn, Oates, and myself decide to sit down, play the MSQ roulette in Final Fantasy XIV, and talk about whatever comes into our deranged little heads, and it's usually some of the most insane shit you've ever heard in your entire life. It also gets you the entire back catalog of That's Hell You're Walking Into, a series where Ben would ask me questions about Fate Stay Night, Fate Grand Order, and the extended Naziverse, and I would do my damnedest to answer it with varying results. All of that. I was going to say all of that, and that's not true. All of that and more, because there are other bonus things.
There's a few other scatterings of things that just end up being Patreon content.
That's correct. So I actually can say all of that and more is available on patreon.com/thegorge.
So yeah, what are we talking about this week?
We're finally talking about Hi-Fi Rush. We had to slightly put it off because of technology issues on my end. We're good now, and it was like, well, we could, because we try to get, to do 3 episodes in a month, take a week off, that kind of thing. So it was like, okay, well, this is technically our break week, but we've both played Hi-Fi Rush, so why don't we just talk about it anyways, slightly off schedule? And it's like, yeah, okay.
Why don't we just do it this week? Why don't we just do it this week, and we can do 2 news episodes later in the month?
That's right. So we got this out of our system now to talk about Hi-Fi Rush, because Hi-Fi Rush kicks ass.
It's fucking, it's one of the best character action games ever.
It is so close to being perfect. There's just a few things that kind of hold it back, and that's why, I'm glad that this game is done really well, because the sequel will be amazing.
I'm expecting a jump from DMC 1 to DMC 3 in quality for Hi-Fi
absolutely.
Rush 2.
Yeah, or we could, I guess there is always that faint, horrifying possibility that we just get DMC 2 again.
I don't think it's possible to make a DMC 2 anymore.
Yeah, that entire sliver of history is kind of gone now, huh?
You know how we talk a lot about how there's no B movies anymore. Everything at least has some level of quality baked into it now, just by nature of how the industry and technology have advanced. We can't make DMC 2s anymore. We're safe from that.
Unfortunately, all the good and bad that comes with not being able to make a DMC 2 anymore, in terms of mid-budget games, right? On the one hand, we're safe from a DMC 2 happening to Hi-Fi Rush. On the other hand, we'll also never get another Jak and Daxter.
Right.
So, trade-offs.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, no, I don't believe Hi-Fi Rush is doomed to be sent to the DMC 2 realm.
Right. The doom of Hi-Fi Rush is that it never gets a sequel.
Right. And, this is done really well. Tango Gameworks is still chugging along, so hopefully this means we'll get a sequel. There's a perfectly acceptable hook at the end of this game to just have a sequel, which is great. They know.
Yeah.
They're no, don't worry. We got you.
There's still stuff to do. There's still a world to explore here.
There's still a whole additional world to explore. Where to even start? Hi-Fi Rush feels like, and this is in the best way possible, but I guess, I just said you don't get any Jak and Daxters anymore. Mm-hmm. This feels like a PS1 Spyro the Dragon meets
this
Devil May Cry.
The way I have so many ways I can describe everything about this game. The way I would describe Hi-Fi Rush is if Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart was the first Ratchet & Clank.
Yeah, absolutely.
This feels, Hi-Fi Rush feels like this is the 7th game in the franchise, and it's like a reboot of it,
Yeah, because it's very much got when I went into it, because you had already been singing its praises, I didn't realize what singing. I get it. Yeah, singing its praises. I realized that like it's more platformer than I was expecting. Mm-hmm. You know, like there's more platforming and like getting around the world. And honestly, if I had to give a single critique, it's like you should cut like 30% of that. Yeah. And just put the combat rooms in, because like the platforming is fine. It's totally fine. It's just like there's too much of it. It's like that's not why I'm here, you know?
There's too much of it without like things to fight in between it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like when you have like a normal platformer, there's enemies that are, you know, there to kind of like stand in the way of you doing the platforming. Like there's a flying enemy around here, or like, you know, there's just like one or two things. It's not no enemies, combat room, no enemies.
That's exactly what it is. I think that's the weirdest, and that's kind of what makes like Hi-Fi Rush's pacing feel really weird. It's the thing I brought up in the Roundup episode last week, is that this game does have kind of whack pacing. But one of the things that makes it weird is that like navigating the world and fighting are like really, really sectioned off from each other.
Yeah, there's no blending. Like
there's no blending.
Even DMC5 like had enemies to fight while you're traversing. Like when you're playing as Nero, like you go around and you're like your grapple platforms are enemies.
Yeah, like the whole fun part of like the subway level with Nero and V is that you're kind of traversing this zone while also fighting things. And then those, you know, it also then opens up into larger combat arenas and stuff like that. Hi-Fi Rush is extremely sectioned off. And I think that is like probably the major I think of everything, that's the major weakness of the game.
They're doing a thing like that, what Bayonetta does, where every battle encounter you get a rank afterward, right?
Right.
And so by nature of that, you have to section them off because like that's how you grade throughout the level,
right?
Which works kind of better in Bayonetta 1 at least, because like there is just a better pacing and flow of, you know, in between the action, you know, the battle arenas.
Yeah.
There's more like how do I put this? It feels quicker. There's just there's not as much between
exactly.
them.
That's the pacing thing coming up, and the fact that like you could trim about 20% of all of the platforming stuff in this game, and I think it would be a better game for it. And yeah, that's kind of the weird thing. I guess like for any potential sequel, I think it would be better to not grade you on combat encounters, but grade you on like sections of the level. You know?
Yeah.
Like you segment off each level like into 5 parts, and then they grade you off of the composite of those 5 parts if you're gonna do it at all, you know?
Right, yeah. I mean, I would honestly just prefer like
no grade.
a DMC style of you get a grade for you hit the end of the level, you get a grade for the entire level.
Right, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, like that's how I prefer it too, but if you're going to keep it, then...
Right. You could cut all of the levels in Hi-Fi Rush in half and give a grade to each of those levels, and it would probably feel a little better.
Yeah, that's true too. That's actually a really good point, where like you just section it up even more, and then you would end up with like a proper like, you know, 20 mission game or whatever. Like a real DMC. But again, this is just me continuing the long-running trend of me saying every game is improved if you make it more like Devil May Cry.
Right, which the devs of Hi-Fi Rush certainly listen to in a lot of ways.
There's so many things in Hi-Fi Rush that are just like, oh, you just really like DMC5, I see. Considering
Chai is just a composite of Dante, Virgil, and Nero in one character.
It's amazing, yeah.
Like, did you get Chai's rip and tear finisher?
No. I saw the one where he rides his guitar.
There's that. There's also the one where he just gets Nero's devil trigger wings.
Oh, like, really?
He just gets them.
No, I didn't see that. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Like, he just has those, Nero's exact wings. Like, oh, okay, yeah, you played DMC, okay.
All right. I mean, I get it. I know this game has like even the you know the kale heads that you can beat the hell out of for
currency. Yeah, those are
the red orb things, from DMC. Yeah, it's really funny. And I'm sure that exists in, like, Bayonetta as well. But again, that's because everything kind of flows back to Devil May Cry. If you're making a character action game, there's one nascent point for all of them, and it's DMC3.
you're looking at Devil May Cry 3, and you're like
specifically DMC3, and then you're just iterating from there.
Right,
because everybody knows what they're about,
Yeah, it's like there's never been an entire, like, genre of game that has such a succinct starting point.
Yeah, you literally, like, every single character action game that exists on this planet, you can trace directly back to DMC3. It's incredible.
The design document for every character action game is, what are we stealing from DMC3, and then how are we changing it so that it's not exactly like DMC3?
So that Capcom can't come and sue us. Right. Exactly. And then what you sometimes get is that you're like, fuck, we've actually just made Bayonetta. God damn it.
Right. But no, I mean, I think the only real complaint I have about the game is that, like, there's just too much. We said it, like you said in the roundup, both the combat and the platforming can just be a little shorter.
Little bit shorter.
Just a little bit.
I will say the one thing. No, you know what? I take it back. I said there was one real drawback. Those are fine. They're just it's just kind of like filler to make the game a little bit longer. Hi-Fi Rush does have one big problem. All of its boss fights are not very good.
No, I liked a few of them, but I think for the most part you're right.
They're also long. Again, it just goes back to that, right?
Roquefort's boss fight was really, really good. And Rekka's fight was amazing.
Rekka is good. Rekka is really good. Roquefort is good. Kale is good because
Kale's fight is fucking Kale's fight is
it's just fucking Virgil. What's up? And I'm actually really amazed they somehow managed to turn, because, like, I'm playing this game and, like, Kale sucks but could get it. I'm just gonna get on record with that one real fast.
Right.
But it's like, I'm, like, playing this game, and I'm like, this motherfucker is not the Virgil of this game. Like, he's just some fucking CEO, right?
Yeah, but it's like our Rivals episode. He's a villain. He's not a Virgil.
Right? He's just a bad guy. He's not really like a rival. And then the game ends, and you're doing this boss fight. You're like, never mind.
And then
I'm sorry, I was wrong.
And then you fight him on the roof, and he switches to a black trench coat and summons his summon swords.
And he's got, like, cool fucking katanas and shit.
And you're like,
and, like, a sick ass black outfit. And you're like, oh, okay.
Oh, he is actually Virgil. He was Virgil the whole time.
He was Virgil the whole time. I see. And it rules.
But yeah, I think some of the other boss fights are they're too long for one thing.
Yeah.
And they just aren't as, like, dynamic as you would get from, like, a Devil May Cry boss fight, you know?
Yeah, they're definitely, like, they're more rote. Like, they kind of they feel more like Zelda boss fights.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it.
Right? Because, like, Zelda boss fights are like, you do the thing, you get to hit them 3 times, and then they go off and they're back in their little pattern. And then you have to do the thing and wash, rinse, repeat. Like,
especially Mimosa.
Mimosa's was the worst. That was a terrible boss fight. I'm sorry.
She felt like a really bad Zelda fight when you put it. When you use that word, like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. It's just, but, like, and I'm not trying to, like, dunk on the game a lot as we get started, but, like, there are things that kind of keep it from being like one of the high tier ones, right? Like, it's not a Revengeance, it's not a Bayo 1, it's not a DMC3 and 5. Like, it's so close though. It's, like, so close. You can, like, feel it. You're just like, if you would just trim the fat and tighten up the boss fights a little bit, and make everything move a little bit faster. That's a small thing. But like, when you play again, sorry, this is going to happen a lot in this episode. You play DMC5 like on turbo mode, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, and I played DMC4 on turbo mode as well. Like, I'm just used to, like, faster, like, I'm just used to everything going faster. So
no, I think the distinction I would make is moving faster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chai needs to his run speed needs to be a little quicker.
Yeah, totally, 100%.
Like, the actual, like, actions you take can't be any faster because they're on the beat, and that's what I love about the game.
Sure, that's the best thing about the game. Although you could speed up the beat too.
You could, yeah, but
you could speed up the beat. But yeah, like, and that's such a small. That's such a small thing. But like again, when you're making a game in a genre that's been like, for as young as it is, a genre that has been so like ruthlessly refined to like a razor edge as character action game.
There are so few character action games because by design they need to be good. Yeah,
like it's, you can play, there are bad character action games, but they're miserable to play. And there's even like mediocre action character action games that are okay, but like the standout titles in the genre are like really standout titles. Right. Like I think every single character action game that's like the big three at this point are Bayonetta, Revengeance, and Devil May Cry, right?
Right.
And like all of those three are like really, really stand out, you know? So when you're making a whole new game in that genre, like the kind of the weaknesses kind of stand out in comparison to those.
Yeah. So I think the bosses, we needed at least one more Virgil type.
Well, I was going to say, I am totally forgetting what the Irish chick's name is right now.
Corsica,
thank you. What we needed, Corsica should have been Kale 1.0.
You're correct, but I also really loved her boss fight.
I really liked her boss fight, but the thing is that I wanted it to be like Kale, and even Kale has it, is the thing. Kale does the Corsica thing at the end where you have to like repeat after him. You have to do Simon Says, right?
Every boss fight should have had Corsica's gimmick in it.
Yeah, 100%. That's cool. It's just fun.
It's a really, really cool thing, and it makes your boss fight stand out. Like, we're entering this phase where now you have to play a rhythm game.
Yeah, right. Like every single game, like because it is a rhythm game.
Yeah.
That is also a character action game. Like every boss fight should have had that phase. Yeah. But if not that, then Corsica should have been, because like the nature of how Kale functioned as a character is that his ability to like put on a black trench coat and beat your ass,
right,
is supposed to catch you off guard.
Yeah.
So you can't have like a Virgil 1, a Virgil 2, and a Virgil 3 situation, right? So your Virgil 1 has to be Corsica for the first time instead.
Yeah. Corsica could have been, I'm going to say could have because it not should have, because, I really like her boss fight in general. She could have been Nilo Angelo or Credo.
Right, yeah, exactly. Where she fights in a similar way to Kale, not like totally exactly the same, but like has a similar kind of movement gimmick and like move set and stuff. And then I feel like one of my animals just knocked something over. And then when you go to fight Kale, it's like, oh, okay, well, I kind of know the gist of how this is gonna go.
Right. Like I've been prepared for this type of boss fight. So what it could have been is like Rekka should have been your first rival fight. It should have been Rekka, Corsica. Rekka should be Virgil 1, Corsica is Virgil 2, and then Kale is Virgil 3.
Absolutely.
The rest should have all been way more gimmicky. You know?
Yeah, I agree. Like they should have all been like all of the other boss fights should have been gimmick boss fights, and then you know, Rekka, Corsica, and Kale should have been somebody walking at you very slowly.
Right. like Roquefort was a really dynamic boss fight. He should have had like a platforming section in there.
Yeah.
You know, or some kind of weird thing you have to do to knock him out of werewolf mode, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But that's really like, and they were like, none of the boss fights were bad. None of them were
bad. Like I would say Mimosa is the only like really kind of bad boss fight, because it just its pieces don't really work together very well.
Mimosa's fight was kind of the same problem I had with when I played Doom Eternal with what's it, the Like
what's it?
The Virgil of Doom Eternal.
Yeah, I know
that
the
thing.
Marauder?
The Marauder,
Yeah.
where it's like, yeah, this is supposed to be your one-on-one fight, but you're getting pestered with ads the entire time.
Yeah, anytime. That's like, I think that's one of like the most common cardinal sins of like an action game trying to do a boss fight is doing an ads phase.
Yeah.
Like, ads phase, just in general, ads phases suck, guys. I'm sorry. Nobody likes them. Don't do them.
If your boss has to jump out of the arena, just don't do that. Instead, just keep them in the arena the whole time.
If you get the idea to do a phase where the boss leaves the arena and now you have to fight a bunch of goons, take that part out.
Unless it's designed to give you breathing room.
That's fair.
Like Doom Eternal would have, like, for instance, would have been fine because, like, killing enemies is how you replenish your resources in that game.
Sure.
If the Marauder ran away and you took that time to, like, catch your breath and restock your stuff before you came back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
Which is what Mimosa could have been, too, because, like, you get stuff for killing enemies in Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah. So you know, just a few, like, little quibbles. That's kind of it, though.
That's really about, like, I really don't have any other problem with the game besides that.
And, like, the listed problems are not really problems. It's just more like, you could have done this a little bit. It doesn't, like, fundamentally bother me. You know what I mean? It doesn't make the game unplayable. There's a lot of, like, sequences in other games that I really like. That, like, when you think about it, you're like, I have to redo that.
Yeah, there's nothing in Hi-Fi Rush that I think about that I'm like, oh god, I'd have to do that if I started over, wouldn't I?
I have to redo that again. Yeah, no, there's none of that, which is nice. Like, but everything else, like, it feels really good, and it's just, it's fun and fast and colorful.
Everything about Hi-Fi Rush's design feels deliberate.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really surprised by it. Like, how... This is Tango Gameworks' first character action game.
Which, as we've said, is a really hard genre to nail.
It's a really hard genre to nail. And I know that, like, Shinji Mikami, like, had a hand vaguely in DMC 1. But
that was DMC 1.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not even the good DMC.
I know, it's like the skeleton to the good DMC. But, like, so that's what's crazy to me, right? That Hi-Fi Rush feels so good. And he's so, like, polished and deliberate, even with its kind of, like, its little, you know, foibles.
It feels like they just thought of everything.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Like, all your bases are... I mentioned this when I first started talking about this. Like, it feels like their entire intent was, we want you to feel cool no matter how good you are at character action or rhythm games, without sacrificing difficulty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the challenge is not so much trying to keep the beat, you know? It's the standard character action thing of, you need to be aware of your surroundings, you need to make sure you're using all your tools.
Yep.
And high risk, high reward kind of thing. Make sure your combo keeps going. It's, you know, that kind of thing. They didn't want to also add the difficulty of trying to maintain a beat, you know, trying to stay in rhythm, or else you'll completely fuck up your combo.
Sure.
They wanted you to feel cool while doing this.
And you definitely feel like the coolest thing about Hi-Fi Rush is just, like, how easy it is to maintain your combo, right? Like, this is not... I would love to see, like, a combo person's video for this game. I would just love to see what that looks like. Because, like, in this game, it's super, super easy to maintain your combo, right? Like, Peppermint's whole existence is basically there to make sure the number stays going up. Yeah. You know? Because the only thing that matters about maintaining your combo is consecutive hits. And she comes in and does, like, a little, you know, spray and pray kind of gunshot thing. And that helps keep the number going up. And so, like, it's actually really easy to kind of get, like, these huge combo numbers in this game because of all of the different kind of, toward the end anyways, like, all of the different tools at your disposal. And it's, like, it's really good. Like, I don't know. It's just, it feels good. It feels very natural. The progression, like the progression of things at your disposal is really nice.
Yeah.
As you kind of like, as you add team members and they bring additional functionality, you know, it really does become like a song. It becomes like such a cacophony.
Yeah.
Of like, cause like everybody's attacks have different beats, right?
Right.
And so like, as you're kind of weaving them in and out, it really does kind of create its own music.
Yeah.
And it's really great.
I also, for one thing, I really, really love that each member of your team has a different cooldown.
Yeah.
So that
everybody has different cooldowns and stuff.
You can just bring them out at any time. Like, you don't need to wait for Peppermint to go away before you bring out Macaron.
Right. Yeah. And like, that's kind of the challenge, is managing these cooldowns to make sure that everybody is weaving properly, right? It's just like Final Fantasy 14. No. That's the other thing I'm just starting to start sneaking into videos. Is it's all be like Devil May Cry and Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, everyone's got to keep their damage up, you know?
That's right, yeah. I mean, that kind of is true, though.
It kind of is.
It's kind of like, what is a character action game if not just reminding you to always be dealing damage?
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, no, so you're kind of like learning to weave all of these different, you know, cooldowns in and out. And like toward the end of it, when you kind of get the hang of the flow, it does kind of have like a musical quality to it, which makes sense.
Yeah, you're calling them in to you know, to get things off you, or to break down shields or barriers, and or to stun lock them while you're freely zipping around with your magnet grapple. You're dashing. You have so much at your disposal. And it all just it flows so easily. It kind of feels like you're more encouraged to use all those tools because of the rhythm.
Yeah, you're definitely not you're not guilty of a sort of I'll use it when I need it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, and I think the rhythm gameplay probably, I kind of have like a suspicion that the rhythm gameplay exists because they came up with this cool idea of weaving summonable party members in and out. But then like, they were like, well, we don't want people to save Macaron for when they need him, right?
Right.
We want to encourage people to just throw them out willy-nilly. Again, kind of like damage things in Final Fantasy 14. Anyways. Right. That just kind of occurred to me. We don't want people to think like, oh, I need to hold on to this when I need it. So the music aspect gets brought in to say like, well, you want to kind of keep this beat going. You want to make sure everything stays flowing. So you're encouraged to, in that way, not worry about cooldowns, because cooldowns expire, obviously, right? Cooldowns will always expire. And in the meantime, you're using Macaron to keep the beat up. You're using Corsica and Peppermint for the same reasons. Like, it's not really so much about their utility in combat. It's about making sure you're keeping those hits coming. Yeah, right?
They expire so quickly, and because you can call all three out independent of one another,
right?
You are more greatly encouraged to just throw them out, and because they have really good tracking for what they're supposed to be hitting.
Exactly.
You know, like Peppermint will target shielded enemies or barrier enemies. Macaron will target shielded enemies. Like, they know what they're supposed to be doing.
It's again, it goes back to this idea that this is their first one of these.
I know. and I think the other brilliant thing is that, like, with the rhythm aspect of it, you never feel overwhelmed by enemy encounters, you know? Right. Because the enemies also can only attack on the beat. You don't get into, if you're playing a DMC game for the first time or playing a Bayonetta game for the first time, where like you're panicking because you're surrounded by enemies. Right. You know? You know, like, okay, well, they can only attack me when I can attack them.
Yeah. So everybody, you can kind of build this muscle memory of knowing when hits are coming.
Yeah, when to parry, when to jump, when to dash away. I also love that, again, because they're so fucking smart in their first game, jumping, dashing, and parrying are not tied to the beat. You can do those whenever.
Yeah. Exactly, because they're smart, because those don't really make like a sound or anything like that.
Right.
So it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, you're encouraged to just use those whenever, right? It's great!
If you feel like you need to get out of there, you can.
Yeah, and you're not going to be penalized for that at all. It's not going to fuck up your rhythm or anything like that. It's like, yeah, that's smart game design.
Yeah. I just can't believe this is shadow dropped out of fucking nowhere.
Shadow dropped out of nowhere with no, like, hype building or screenshots or trailer or anything. They were just like, here's Hi-Fi Rush. You can download it right now.
This feels like something we should have been seeing at like every fucking Sony or Microsoft conference for like 3 years, Yeah,
like, talk about shooting yourself in the foot. Microsoft has got such a problem with, like, games coming, like, announcing games and then having them come out. I suppose they didn't do it with this one because they're like, if we announce it, it'll never come out.
Yeah.
So we just have to shadow drop it.
I'm very grateful that we didn't get sick of Hi-Fi Rush.
Sure, no, definitely this is not.
At every fucking conference or chance Microsoft had to talk about it, they were going to show off Hi-Fi Rush. I'm glad we didn't get that. I'm just surprised that we did.
Yeah, it would have been very, very easy for them to have done that. But no, they reined it in, and it's just like... And so this game comes out, it's $30. It's $30, right? It's $30. It drops out of nowhere. You can get it on Game Pass, for fuck's sake. And it's just like this extremely well done first attempt at a very difficult genre, right? That is so crazy to me.
You don't get success stories like this, especially from Microsoft anymore.
Especially from Microsoft, especially from, like, Tango Gameworks is kind of a hit and miss kind of thing. Like, I like Tango's games. I know that, like, Ghostwire Tokyo is kind of a hit and miss. Ghostwire Tokyo, actually, from what I didn't play it, but from I could surmise from other people talking about it, is that Ghostwire Tokyo actually suffers from a similar problem to Hi-Fi Rush, but just in a way bigger way, where there's just, like, too much, like, extraneous stuff, like, in terms of the world, right? Like, Ghostwire Tokyo has a bad problem with, like, has this beautiful recreation of Tokyo in it, and, like, not a whole lot to do in it.
Right,
Yeah. And so it's kind of in a similar situation to where, like, Hi-Fi Rush has this problem of, like, really needing to kind of trim the fat. So I assume that's just kind of like a quirk of their development that kind of manifests through their games of, like, we kind of need to make this last longer. But, like, the whole reason that, like, Devil May Cry games are short is that they're meant to be replayed 100 times, right?
They give you a grade because they want you to get triple S rank the entire time.
Yeah. Like, back in the day, I still remember when, like, DMC 1 and DMC 3 and even, 4 and 5 came out, and people were saying, well, it's kind of short. And it's like, well, yeah, that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be short. You're supposed to be able to finish it in, like, 3.5 hours if you skip cutscenes,
Yeah, so that way you're encouraged to do it again and do it better.
Right.
Not with what you've learned.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no like, fucking around with running around giant levels and stuff like that. And I think that, like, a lot of developers are afraid of that. It's not just Tango. I think it's just a quirk of the industry in general to be like, we can't sell a 5-hour-long video game for $30. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can.
If it's a video game that, like, people want to replay again, you just better hope you've made a video game that people want to play again.
Yeah.
You know
what? Now that I'm thinking about it, you know what I actually would have kind of liked more than platforming stuff?
What?
I would have liked DMC 1 Resident Evil puzzles.
I think we definitely needed more puzzles. I would have liked, like, in my kind of, like, dream Hi-Fi Rush 2. I would like traversal sequences that are just rhythm games.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah,
like whenever you do the like swing, like the like railway things where you're like holding onto a thing and like you have to weave back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, just do like more of that, but it's basically just kind of like a live cutscene with like rhythm game shit thrown in as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think if you're going to go so hard on like the rhythm and musical aspects, like go all the way, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like really lean into it super, super hard instead. Because that way there's not like so much kind of just standing around. Although I don't mind some standing around because the game looks really good.
Oh my god, it's so fucking beautiful.
It's really beautiful and just like...
And it's so active.
It's so active. That's totally what it is. It's so active and so layered in its activeness, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's just so much going on in every single screen. It looks great. Like, just design. I was just looking at this game and just watching things go by and just kind of amazed by it, by like how colorful it is and how lively it is and all that stuff. You know,
you get stuff like the factory assembly lines where like the machines are whirring and clicking into place and slamming down in the rhythm, and steam vents are pumping out and like opening and closing, and like you have like dials and like meters that are pulsing up and down.
Yeah. Like there's just so much stuff kind of happening, and it's all to the beat, which is just incredible.
Yeah.
And like you've got platforms, like you said, rising and falling and kind of clicking to the beat of the music, and it's just like, that's fantastic.
It is.
Like all of it is so lively and fantastic and colorful, and it's stunning.
The art direction in this game is jaw-dropping.
It's so good. It's a Saturday morning cartoon that you can just play.
This, it's funny because like I finished Pizza Tower like the other day, and I'm like, the whole time I'm like, yeah, this completely captures the aesthetic of a cartoon that aired in 1993 on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that specific early 90s thing. This feels like an early 2000s cartoon.
Yeah, totally. Like it's so just it's just got those really like bright saturated colors and a lot of movement. It looks like what Ruby wishes it looked like.
Yeah. It's Ben 10, it's Generator Rex, it's Teen Titans.
Yeah. Oh, it's extremely Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Everyone's like action, their character, their character action. They're like,
their actual character action.
Yeah. The facial expressions, they're everything about them. And it's so fucking funny.
The game is really fun. Honestly, the game is at its funniest when it's just doing physical comedy. I think the hardest I've laughed at a video game in a really long time is the running gag with knocking Corsica's head against a wall, right?
Oh my god! So did you catch her?
Yes.
Okay, I missed it. You actually get a D rank automatically in that boss fight if you fail to catch her.
Great!
Because there's a really weighted Corsica bonus at the end of the fight for catching her.
No, that's awesome! I didn't even notice that. That rules.
Oh my... No, I was dying.
I was in tears the whole time. Like... It's a really funny video game. Again, the thing, funny video games is hard.
It's really hard to do.
Like, so now we've got 3 different types of very hard video game in this one video game. Because we got a funny game, we have a rhythm game, and we have a character action game. And it's like, you just pick the 3 hardest things to do.
Because every single one of those things is like is an element of any kind of media that you are inherently analyzing with a microscope.
Absolutely.
Because if something feels off in a character action game or a rhythm game, you notice.
Yeah, sure, because especially with a rhythm game.
Yeah, oh my god.
If it's off, then yeah, you're quite literally off rhythm, which is not good. And then there are whole games that like their entire appeal is how funny they are, right? Like Psychonauts and Monkey Island live and die off of how funny they are, right? Like Psychonauts is a totally bog standard action platformer game, but that is like elevated by how funny it is.
It lives and breathes by its design, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And like Monkey Island is the same way because like it's it's your standard point and click adventure, but it's funny.
Right.
This is like, so Hi-Fi Rush is also funny and is also a good rhythm and action game. It's like, why would you pick to make the hardest game possible?
I have to say the other joke because this joke always fucking gets me. I love it in everything I see. When Chai crashes into the cafeteria and he's just kind of standing like Bigfoot. And behind him,
his poster is directly behind him in the same pose.
Yeah, I fucking love that joke every time I see it.
It never gets old.
It's so because it's just speaking of because that song plays "Invaders Must Die" from Edgar Wright's Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah,
which Edgar Wright also did that joke in Hot Fuzz.
It's amazing to me. There's so, by the way, crazy that there's like good ass licensed music in this game too.
I know, right?
Yeah, let's just have you fight Kale to 9 Inch Nails. Okay,
right? Fuck it, yeah.
Sure, fuck you. Whatever Tango game works. I mean, if you do that,
if you're gonna do it, go all out. You know.
Yes, absolutely.
And just like you want to highlight, which I have to wonder. Was it actually hard to find like the right song to keep rhythm with?
That's a good question.
Because like a lot of more modern and like all music in general, like licensed music, artists sometimes change the beat to mix it up.
Sure,
between the song and whatnot. Like you don't want to rely on just like techno or Eurobeat or something. Like to get 9 Inch Nails songs that work.
Yeah, like. What is the selection process? Was it just Shinji Mikami just going through his phone, like listening to all of the music he likes, right? Like,
I mean, I might have to like re-listen to it, like, and compare it to like the actual, released version of the song. And be like, did they mix it up to like, make sure it loops properly, or like, to cut out certain bits?
Yeah, probably. I would not be surprised if they did that just to kind of make it, flow better, which is totally fine. But like, no, like fucking doing the Kale fight and like goddamn 9 Inch Nails pops up on the screen. It's like, okay, guys, okay.
also really love that like whenever you switch to a new background track, like it tells you what it is.
Yeah, that's like the best part. It's so like, and that kind of lends itself to the kind of that era of like cartoons and video games and stuff to have the actual like music video style credits pop up in the bottom corner like that.
Yeah.
It just kind of adds it's such a small thing that adds to the kind of style of what they're going for, which is very like, it's so like aggressively about music in every single way, right?
Yeah.
And it's great. Like it's all these little touches that have this game just come together and be so like strong. And like, the plot writing itself is like fine. That's the craziest part about it. It's not like completely stupid. It's fun. It's good.
Yeah, all of the in between writing, like it's clever. It's the characters feel really heartfelt and dynamic and interesting. You really care about them.
You care about them. It has like fun, enjoyable character writing and interactions. You understand kind of what everybody's about, and you end up rooting for all of them. I was super happy. About halfway through the Corsica fight, I was like, we're gonna recruit her, aren't we? we're about to get this cool ass Irish chick on our team, aren't we?
I love the Corsica fight not only because of it was like, oh, it's a parry fight. All you're doing is parrying.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Very cool, but also like the dialogue exchange between the characters is so. I love Chai and Corsica's dynamic in that whole fight.
I love the running thing of that whole encounter where like Chai can't help himself, but to make an ass of himself.
He keeps making it worse unintentionally.
Yeah, it's really good. Until they're finally like, fuck it, just lean into it and get her really mad.
Yeah.
You know? It's all you're good at. You might as well just go for it, my man.
Mm-hmm. I love Cinnamon's entire bit of having to draw on his face.
Cinnamon is the best character in this game, hands down.
So fucking funny. He's so passive aggressive.
It's so. What was the? Oh, it's the bit where they're trapped in. It's at the very end of the game where they're trapped in the in like the shield, like in the shield part. Yeah. Like after Kale's been like, ha ha ha, I'm about to win, assholes. Yeah. And he walks off and he traps you in that kind of force field thing, and like Chai breaks it. And it cuts to Cinnamon, like, drawing his face on, and is so shocked that he's just dragging the marker down his face.
That and the bit where it's, like, everyone, Chai is, like, trying to, like, tap into it and, like, feel the rhythm without the need of a guitar. And he's remembering all of the, like, the encouraging things they've said to him. Yeah. And Cinnamon's is, I quite like your pants, Mr. Chai.
It's really good. As soon as I realized what his gimmick was with drawing his facial expressions on, I was like, oh, this game is a 10 out of 10. Yeah. Never mind. Just like an extremely funny character bit. I'm so glad. Right? Like, fantastic. What a great character.
There are so many just like of those like little quirks that I love. For instance, when you're doing the platforming assist, like, you're calling Peppermint to shoot down like a hook or something.
Sure.
You have macro break down a wall. Corsica's is the only one that's not on a beat.
Right.
Which to me implies that she can't actually keep a beat.
No, I'm positive she can't, right? It's just something about that character that's like, no, my girl cannot play DDR. No,
not at all.
No. That's not that kind. She's not that kind of a girl. She's so funny, like extremely good character. All of them are great.
The entire running gag about the robot uprising not having regular coffee available.
Right. The running gag of Sebastian and what's his face from The Walking Dead, the robots who are just Sebastian.
Yeah.
Joseph, that's his name.
Yeah. Just from Evil Within. Just
from the Evil Within, yeah. There's that.
The entirety of Lucille. Every time you talk to Lucille,
it's so good. When you talk to her at the volcano place, and they're like, Chai's like, we'll just quit. And she's like, no, I can't do that. Spite keeps me. I think she said something like, "Spite keeps me going" or something like that. It's just like, oh, amazing. What's his face? The JoJo. I Zanzo, and his whole running JoJo thing.
Oh my! The thing that made me like fall in love with it, because everybody was like, it's funny. He does JoJo poses. It's funny. He also has like that really good like shot where like it just looks like a manga.
Yeah.
The thing that like made me go from like JoJo reference, it's funny, to like, oh, this is great, is the bit where he goes when he's talking about Chai like testing his new equipment. Mm-hmm. He's like, let's give it a go, and he's striking poses each time. Mm-hmm. The joke there is that the actual onomatopoeia for the menacing sound effect is go.
Oh, that's great!
That's great! Yeah, I'm like, oh my, that's just like, this isn't like we're referencing a popular manga. This is, we know what we're talking about.
We like have actually read JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and we are making like a very specific reference to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like there's so much good stuff like that in this whole, like the whole game is just like packed with like, I mean, like it's just funny.
They know so much. The character who is just a fighting game grappler is named Rekka.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like she's named after a fucking fighting game term.
Yeah.
And she does Potemkin's moves.
She does Potemkin's moves, and she has fucking jet punches in her elbows. Like, just the cool, like, so many cool character designs. Mm-hmm. I am always a sucker for the joke. It's a version of this joke is in this game where it's just a bunch of working stiffs, and for some reason they're robots with lunchboxes. And they're just waiting for the train, and the train just comes hurtling by, like, flipping ass over end on the tracks, and they just kind of stand there like, huh.
Yeah. The bit where you're trying to actually get the elevator back online,
mm-hmm.
and Chai is just kind of haphazardly posing as the repairman.
Yeah.
And when the enemies, like, rushed him on the tram, and the one guy's like, no, that's the repairman. He's been helping us fix the elevator.
Yeah. It's just like, there's so many good ass jokes. It's crazy.
It's so hard to be this funny consistently.
Consistently funny. Just like charming game all around. Like the writing is very charming. The characters are likable. Nobody really gets on your nerves. Mm-hmm. Even the villains are like really fun, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody's just really fun and likable and charming and good.
The villains have that great bit where when you first see the entire board of directors, mm-hmm. when Chai and Peppermint are first getting into the system.
Yeah.
And Sanso is accidentally muted.
Yeah. It's so good.
And the fact that it is like a Skype overlay.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Just like so many funny jokes like that.
The one that got me the hardest is it's a twofold joke where when you're infiltrating Corsica's section of the building, and there's like the billboards and like the ticker tape that like says messages. One of the messages is that scrolls by is, if you remember your password, it's too short.
Oh,
and then
really good.
And then at the end of the game, it's revealed that Corsica's password is password.
I'm so happy with that last joke of them, of each of the board of directors has like a memory stick, and Corsica has to use a password, and it's just password. Like you didn't even have to recruit her, because turns out it's just like a nothing password.
You could have guessed that.
The extremely good running joke that they just haven't taken Corsica off of corporate emails yet.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you have all this intel? It's like, I'm just still on the emails. They really should take me off of the email list at this point.
the PDA that you can pick up where it's revealed that Rika's caps lock is broken. That's why she talks in all caps.
Oh, I had no idea. Oh, that's so good. It's such a good game.
It's like, just so fucking funny. It's so clever. Everything about it is so smart.
It's just smart. Yeah, like that's the thing, is that like it has a couple missteps, but in general the game is very smartly written and designed and like plays just very competently.
I haven't played a game in a long time that's this consistently good.
Yeah, like it's so just like every single piece of it is so competently put together in like a way that really it should not be for being their first foray into an action game.
Like this has no right being as good as it is when there are people who have been working in this genre for forever and can't even come close to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
It's
like,
so crazy to me to be like, because like in another timeline, the way it usually works out is that like the Hi-Fi Rush we should have been like a C+ that had potential, right?
Like we should be in a world that's logical. We'd be sitting here talking and be like, yeah, it was pretty good. It was not bad. Like this should be on like honestly, this should be on Ghost Rider and Oogie's Revenge level.
Yes, absolutely.
like we should be like, oh, this is really impressive for someone's first attempt.
Right.
It's not as good as DMC3, but like, bravo for trying.
Sure, absolutely. Instead, like, this is such a solid first like go at the genre. It's just like all you have to do is fix a few things in the sequel and like you're good.
Yeah, no, like the enemies feel really good to fight. You can tell what their gimmick is and how you're supposed to counteract it. They all have like really fun dynamic. I love the sub bosses.
Yes.
The giant bird, the giant dogs, like all those. The samurai is really fun.
The samurai is probably my favorite of like its kind of class of monster, I guess, of enemy. The samurai is definitely my favorite of the group, but like they're all like good. And like to me that's crazy. You know, it's just like you could do so much more in the sequel with only a little bit of extra effort.
Right.
Like I really hope this game gets a sequel because I think that its second attempt will be even better.
Yeah,
right?
I think this game can only go up, you know.
Yeah.
I can't
catastrophically wrong, but
yeah, I can't like comprehend the idea of this being their first attempt. And unless literally everyone who worked on it fucking leaves the studio,
which is not impossible considering it's Microsoft, but let's not speak that into existence. Right,
but I mean, it's also Bethesda published it, which is the other amazing thing. It's like, Bethesda? Really? You did this?
Yeah, well, they are because Tango is just a subsidiary of Bethesda. Yeah. Like they've always been that way.
But like barring like literally everyone who put their hand on it leaving the company, I can't even imagine Hi-Fi Rush 2 being any worse or equal to this. Like it's got to only be better.
It can only be better. Just let us have weapon swapping.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking about it, what you should do, what you can do. Your style your style switching should be music genres.
Should be music genres. Yes, absolutely.
Like I want to see what happens when Chai has like freeform jazz playing
absolutely
out of his chest. Like
you should have music genres and at least 2 more weapons.
Yeah.
And then I'd be happy. And I think that's pretty much all you need. Right.
Like I have to wonder, like, would Chai's mood be affected by what music he's playing? Like, do you think it works like that?
That would be really funny if it did.
Like, do you think they can just put different tracks in him and like he just like becomes it like in One Piece when you put different beverages in Frankie's chest?
Yeah, I want to put like Mozart in Chai's chest and he becomes smarter.
Yeah, you know? it's like that thing where you play Mozart for your baby.
You play heavy metal for your plants and they grow bigger.
Yeah. The one that I want to see is I want to see him play like really, really like intense indie grunge metal. Like imagine like playing Institutionalized.
Yes.
And he just becomes a drunken master.
Yeah. Oh my god. Absolutely.
Like when there's no rhythm, he's just like flopping around and like there's no predicting him.
Oh god. But swapping music genres like that would make having licensed music even more of a nightmare.
It really would, but it'd be so cool.
It would be cool. I don't even know how you would do that. but I would love to see them try.
You would have to, like, design 4 background tracks for every single level.
Yeah. Oh, that's...
It'd be really cool, but, like, I can see why they would not want to do something like that.
I can see why they might not do it, but it would be really cool if they did. But if not that, then they should just have additional weapons that are just also instruments.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Give him, like, his fucking, like, his fist weapon is, like, a pair of cymbals or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Didn't they once say they wanted to give Dante, like, a violin weapon?
That would be good, yeah.
I was just thinking, like, we should just steal that idea for Chai.
Imagine if Chai had a violin and it turned him into V.
With, like, summon monsters and stuff?
Yeah, like, you could summon robots and he's, like, commanding them with the violin.
That would be really cool. See? You don't have to necessarily do new style switching. You just need to give some more, like, weapons that have, like, really crazy movesets and stuff.
Yeah!
That would be a cool compromise.
Yeah!
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I would love that because, like, man, there's just so much potential here. Like, that's the thing that really just blows my mind.
And usually when we say there's so much potential here, it's because they're missing something.
No,
there's just so much more you can do. Like, this is already
so much more.
This is already amazing. Like, nothing's missing or absent. It's like you just can grow.
Yeah, you can just. There's just so much more you can really do. Like, how much further you can take this, how much more you can kind of take this really good thing you have and just refine it, right? Like, to really, like, to trim down the fat, to make the game, to make, like, the flow between moving around and combat encounters more seamless, you know, to do kind of, to, you know, cut 5 minutes off of most of these boss fights.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
I literally was like, I really want to see what a really good Kale fight looks like, right? And, like, so I looked it up. That's a 9-minute long video on YouTube. I'm like, that's a little much.
That's a bit much.
That's a bit much. You can trim all of that down.
Yeah.
But, like, once you kind of, once they do that and really refine it down, like, oh God, you'll have one of the best.
Yeah,
right?
you will have, like. It's so rare to have a game that just comes out of fucking nowhere like this from a studio that doesn't do this thing.
No, they make horror games.
And be like, we're gonna breeze past, like, 90% of the competition.
Sure, absolutely. This game has set people on fire way more than Bayonetta 3 did. Yeah, no. Like, the people, like, the kind of people who get really enthusiastic about Bayonetta 3, you know, they were talking a whole lot more about Hi-Fi Rush, like, when it dropped.
Yeah.
It was like, this game is awesome. And it is. It's so good. It's just so, it's so close to perfection, right?
Yeah.
You could just a little bit, push it just a little bit more, and you're there.
Like we said, there could have been so many points where they could have just fucked it up.
Sure, absolutely.
You know, they could have, every character could be insufferable, right?
Sure.
Like,
but especially comedy games, right?
Yeah, it would have been so easy to, like, if you're gonna shoot your shot, it would have been so easy to land in every single character is obnoxious and annoying, and you know, Forspoken.
Forspoken, yeah, absolutely.
You could have had that. We could have had this rhythm, like, thing doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Feels wrong.
Yeah.
Feels bad and unnatural.
The delay on my inputs doesn't feel comfortable. You know, there could have been any ways it could have gone wrong. It could have looked like garbage.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, it could be bland or just, you know, kind of boring and ugly, but, like, still has all these good kind of pieces behind it, you know. And it's like, oh, well, there's so much potential here. It's not like that. Like, when we say that, like, there's so much potential with Hi-Fi Rush, we mean, like, this is a great game that could be perfect with only, like, a little bit of tweaking.
With just, like, a little bit of adjustments, a little bit of you know, fine tuning and adding some more stuff. Hi-Fi Rush 2 could blow DMC5 out of the fucking water.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, like, it would have to be really, really good.
It would, but, like...
But, like, it's possible.
it's not inconceivable to be like, oh my god, this is leaps and bounds better than DMC5.
It absolutely has the potential to be as good as DMC5.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just because, like, you know, the only problem with, like, beating DMC5 is, for one, I love DMC5.
Of course,
and two is that, like, DMC5 has so many, like, it is such a result of so many years of previous games, like,
right.
It is such a confluence.
Yeah,
right?
Everything that they've learned from 1, 3, and 4. Being put into 5 is like what makes 5 so good.
Right. And so yeah, Hi-Fi Rush 2 could absolutely be like at least that good, because, you know, if you just kind of take it and just refine it down a little bit more, speed things up, trim some fat, you know,
add some more gimmicky stuff, add some more, like, you know, stuff that mixes up boss fights.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, fuck it. Do the character action thing. Add a second playable character.
Yes, I think we absolutely should have a Peppermint playable character in 2. I think that's the way to go, right? Is to at least have Peppermint be playable.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's an easy W for you right there.
Right.
Yeah, no, there's so many fucking ways you can go. You could beat DMC5 if you do all of the stuff we've mentioned and also do a co-op mode.
Oh my god, a co-op, like fucking co-op mode would be insane for a game like this.
Yeah, or at least a co-op Bloody Palace knockoff.
Yeah, I mean, there is a Bloody Palace in this game.
Is there?
Yeah. When you beat the game, you go talk to Corsica, and she's like, oh, here's some training rooms for you, and it's just a Bloody Palace.
That's true. Yeah, but I mean like a more like a real...
No, it is. It's a real Bloody Palace. Like, there's floors.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, I haven't even fucked around. I haven't even fooled with that yet. I thought it was just a training room. Okay.
Yeah, no. Peppermint has a training room. Corsica has a Bloody Palace.
Okay. Well, now do that again.
Yes.
But make it co-op in the sequel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, if you make if we have an additional playable character, also do that. Yeah. And then make a co-op version of the Bloody Palace.
The really crazy thing is that, like, it's hard to think of what a second character could do, because Chai is just, again, he's just Dante, Virgil, and Nero in one character.
Yes, he has so much more, like, kind of smushed into him. I mean, you can do more with, like, a character who's kind of meant to be more ranged. I think you can have more fun with, like, a kind of how, like, V is, where V is, like, a ranged character in a character action game. Which, like, so you know that conceptually that works. You can have a ranged character in a character action game and be cool. Yeah. I mean, Lady exists, right?
Right, exactly.
So, you know, you could have, like, a very kind of ranged character, like, based around, like, explosives and stuff and different gun types circling through them. And that would be really cool.
It would be cool.
Especially in a game that's about maintaining your beat. And the beat is to gunshots, aka one of the coolest things you can do in any music video ever. You can do a lot of cool stuff.
You know what's also a really cool thing to do on the beat is reload.
Is to reload on the... Oh, fuck! Could you imagine having to reload on the beat and it gives you a damage bonus in your next attack?
Yeah! Like, that's how you do your fucking charge shots, is you reload on the beat. Reload.
Oh, fuck, yeah! See? Listen. Tango game works. Give me a call. We can make this happen. You know?
Yeah, but that's one of the things that I mentioned, is that, like, Capcom better be fucking taking notes, because, like, this is how you do it. Like, imagine DMC6 where Dante has a guitar weapon that just turns him into Chai.
That would be very cool. I think Dante deserves a guitar weapon just in general. Again, not like Nevin. Again. Nevin is a weird weapon. Yeah. Nevin was always a weird weapon.
Yeah, he deserves a guitar that he can just use to smack people with.
Exactly. That also kind of, like, plays music a little bit too. So, like, I mean, there's so much you could do, you know?
Okay, I do have a few more things that, like, just, like, I'm very happy about. One thing I'm surprised about, I never once got sick of, hey, Chai! Yeah. Never. Not once. I'm going to hear that thing all day. it just feels so good.
It feels so good. It's just like, delicious, tasty. Yeah.
I was doing all that right. I love the combo finishers that you get, where it's just like you have like you know that like pulse that green circle where it's like in the timing to do like just like one final smackdown.
Yep.
Very, very, very cool. The penultimate level where it's playing where they just walk out and it's like a culmination of everything you've learned. That level.
Yes. Yeah.
So fucking good.
That's
I almost
honestly,
cried.
Yeah, no, the whole excuse me. That entire like when you're climbing up to get to Kale.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that whole like sequence is incredible.
Yeah.
Like it's just so much fun. It's so like because again, it's like because you know the last kind of subsequent levels have been where you've been indoors a lot, and this is another one where like suddenly everything opens up and you're like in the city and you're running around. So there's hundreds of moving parts and it's colorful and loud, and the music is really good. And it's kind of one of those just like, you know, you and these weirdos that you've become friends with over the last couple of hours are like working together to reach a common goal. And like, yeah, it's a great moment. That whole like bit is just really fun. You've got to fight giant robot hands punching through walls and stuff like that. And Cinnamon gets to have his moment.
He does.
You have like 2 seconds where you play as Cinnamon, which is possibly the funniest way that could have worked.
Yeah,
right?
I love that.
Like 2 seconds wheeling around as Cinnamon.
I love whenever a game is like play as this other character for like a little bit. I love it in Hi-Fi Rush because Cinnamon can do nothing.
You literally can only jump. That's it.
Usually it's like play as this character here's like very limited moveset. You know, it's like in FF14, like play as Thancred, play as Y'shtola.
Sure.
The fact that Shy has a million moves in his arsenal, and it's like play as Cinnamon, he can walk and jump.
Yeah, rules.
I love it. And again, when they're doing their slow walk, and it just pans over to Cinnamon, and he's just drawing angry eyebrows.
Yeah.
Oh, I love him.
What an amazing character. What a funny bit. It literally never once got old to me. I like that toward the end, because he didn't have any arms, they put sunglasses on him instead.
Yeah. I love that, like, for a second, they're like, is he really dead? And no, he's a robot. He's fine.
He's fine. It's fine. Don't worry
They
about it.
can fix him. It's okay.
They're not gonna kill Cinnamon. This is not that kind of a game.
No. Which, here's a question I have for you, by the way.
Uh-huh.
Are the bosses dead?
No.
They
where do they go, though? I do wonder that. Like, where do they go?
They kind of all explode.
They kind of all explode. I assume they just kind of get exploded to the jail zone, like bosses in Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm thinking it's like a Scott Pilgrim thing where Brian O'Malley like confirmed, like, yeah, they explode into coins, but then they kind of reform, and because they don't really want to fight Scott anymore, they just kind of leave.
Yeah, they rethink their evil ways and just kind of move on. Yeah,
because I'm just imagining a scene where it's like, where Chai is like, so is Rekka dead? And Peppermint's like, what? No, she just left. Like, oh, okay, good. I thought it was accessory to murder for a second.
No, we're not those kind. We're not murderers, Chai. Okay.
Peppermint's like, I'm not gonna make you kill my brother.
Also, I appreciate Hi-Fi Rush just not at all trying to surprise you with Peppermint being Kale's sister.
Oh yeah, no.
Extremely funny to me.
I mean, the minute you see their character designs, you're like, huh, that's interesting. And then, like, the second Peppermint gets mad at, like, the Roxanne Vandalay exhibit, it's like, oh, okay. All right, they're siblings.
That Kale just knows her name.
Yeah.
Like, immediately, and it's like, oh, okay,
I get it.
I see. Mm-hmm. What's up? Yeah, very funny.
Which again leads to that great bit where Chai's like, that means your mom has a competing robotics company. It's like, no, dear, no, that's
honey,
okay.
No, don't. Chai, honey, don't sprain something trying to think too hard. You know what I mean? Sweet baby boy. I love Chai. I love his whole character growth. Chai is, again, talking about DMC, but very specifically DMC, the DMC.
Mm-hmm.
Chai, it's conceptually is the same character as Dante.
You felt that too, huh?
Conceptually, because like Chai is also kind of a rock star piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right? Who's kind of an asshole for like a lot of the game.
Like I was thinking about like Chai, and I'm like, yeah, Chai's kind of like Dante if Dante were like a lot younger and like way more of an egotistical shithead. And like a punk ass, oh my god, he's Dante. God.
Yeah, he's literally Dante. Yeah, no, I totally got that while I was playing the game, because he is kind of like, he's young, he's a rock star, he's just kind of a shit.
He is just like PG-13 rated Dante.
Yeah, 100%. You just realize that extremely quickly. So it's very funny.
There is also the bit where you're introduced to him and he's naked.
And he's naked, yeah. See, like, and he's just like, but like they do like that whole asshole main character thing way better, because he is like funny and charming while being an asshole. Right?
Yeah, and also because for one thing, his writing is like he's kind of like Luke, you know, where it's like he's an asshole, but in a way that's endearing, and like the other characters tolerate it to the presence that they reasonably should, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just great. I love him. He's so funny. He's so stupid.
Just 10 out of 10 character. Absolutely fantastic protagonist who like kind of really earns his good boy arc at the very end of the game. And yeah, like the game is just great. Extremely briefly, 808 is the best designed mascot cat ever. I love that little baby. Oh my god, I love 808. I just think that little baby's face is extremely cute. I think it's fun that it changes colors. Yeah, with the different people talking through it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just cute, like really fun, expressive cat. I like that Chai likes the cat so much. It's cute. Great. I also really like that Peppermint's cat likes Chai more than her. Yes, that's correct. Yes, that's correct. It's very funny. She's like, you little bastard. I built you. I built you. I gave birth to you. And you like him more than me. What else before we call it for the night? The problem with Hi-Fi Rush is that you can't really do like a 2-hour episode about it because it's too good. And the thing is that like I could just keep talking about how much this game fucking rules. Yeah, absolutely. But we should be repeating ourselves after a while. Exactly. You and I are going to be like, occasionally in chat, be like, remember that bit in Hi-Fi Rush? That was really good. That game is hey, you know what's a really good video game? Hi-Fi Rush. Or like I mentioned, like, when I beat it and I'm like, okay, well, I gotta move to another game, and like I moved on to like Strikers or like Eyes of Heaven, and I'm like, it doesn't feel as good as Hi-Fi Rush does. I could be playing more Hi-Fi Rush. I could just play more Hi-Fi Rush. That's the thing, is that the game is just like, it's so well made. It's just so solidly constructed that it's hard to really find, like, it's got faults for sure. No, yeah, for sure. But they are so minor. No, but it's got faults in a way that feels kind of like obligatory, because no game can truly be perfect unless it's Devil May Cry 5. Yes, right. I understand. Well, you know, I have even problems with Devil May Cry 5. Most of them are named V, but that's a different thing. Boy, V sure is a fun character to play as. I wish he was fun. I wish he was fun. I wish his levels were fun. Yeah. Oh god. But no, that's a completely different thing. But like, it's just like, I'm gonna be astounded that this game was this good right out the gate. Just forever. Right out the gate. We just started the year off so right with like this, with just like a $30. And again, you can get it on Game Pass. A game we had no idea was coming. Mm-hmm. We had no possible conception that the game was coming out at all. Mm-hmm. It wasn't even like we found this copyright, you know, and Tango's, you know, files or whatever. Right, sure.
like no one had any idea this was coming out. It just drops. It is immediately one of the best character action games ever. It completely elevates. Like Microsoft finally got a W.
Microsoft finally got a W. I'm so proud of them. They did it. Well, Tango Gameworks did it for them. Congratulations.
Yeah, but,
but yeah, no, they got a W. I like they 100% just. This is a good one, folks.
Yeah.
Like, it's a reason to have Game Pass. If you have a PC that can play video games, you should have I really should get Game Pass at this point because, like, that alone makes it worth it. $8 a month just to kind of play video games is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's super crazy to me that this game is just so solid from the get-go. And it feels, I know it wasn't effortless, but it feels like it was effortless.
It feels like watching a figure skater.
Yeah, it just feels like they didn't even have to try.
Right. Like
they just made this amazing action game.
Like what? Like it's hard?
What? Like it's hard? Yeah. Exactly. Like getting into Harvard Law is hard. Yeah, exactly. And it's amazing. They just make it seem so simple and easy for their first attempt. And I know that's because they had Shinji Mikami helping as well.
Right.
But, but like he was only a producer. He wasn't like the game director or anything like that. It's just like, wow.
Shinji Mikami drops one of the greatest character action games of all time, doesn't elaborate, leaves.
Literally put out Hi-Fi Rush and then was just like, well, I'm retired now. And it's like, excuse me? He made Devil May Cry. Or no, Kamiya made Devil May Cry. And Mikami was the producer on that as well. So he produced Devil May Cry, the first one, and then came back, a shit zillion years later. It's like, here's another one. Bye!
He keeps talking about how, like he wants to go make his own, like, super game.
Mm-hmm.
Make it Hi-Fi Rush 2.
Just make it Hi-Fi Rush 2. What if you didn't leave Tango yet?
What if you left Tango and then just like threw a bunch of money at them to make Hi-Fi Rush 2?
Hi-Fi Rush 2. Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying. Like it's folks, it's a winner. It's a good one. And it's only $30 even if you don't have Game Pass. Come on.
I mean, I could just go on and on and on, but I am running out of things to talk about, like, before I just start repeating myself even more than we already are.
Sure, right.
I really, really like the kind of, really understated arc for Chai of him being, like, this kid who's clearly obsessed with music, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I say kid, he's fucking 25, and Peppermint is 23, which is, like, no?
Excuse me?
Yeah, I'm not joking.
What?
Chai is 25, Peppermint's 23.
This is the only time in a video game ever where it's like where you look at a character and you tell me their age. I'm like, no, they should be younger than that.
Yeah.
Peppermint looks like she's like 19.
I know.
For one, I thought she was older than Chai.
Right, which is hilarious to me.
That she's younger than Chai.
He's too, yeah.
And he's 25. No, because like I thought Chai was like 17 and Peppermint was like 19.
Right, but no. Chai is a college dropout.
That's true.
Which suddenly makes so many things about his character make sense.
Everything clicks into place. Like, God, you're so right.
Like, oh, you're not a teenager. You're just stupid.
You're just a dumb boy, and we love you for it. But like, boy.
But no, I love the understated thing. Like, he's obsessed with music, right? Like he lives and breathes it. But he's got a crippled arm. He never got to pursue, like, you can tell, like, without it even, like, being stated, like, the reason he signed up for this program is to play music. Like, he wanted the ability to play an instrument.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And it's so rewarding that this entire game is him wielding a guitar, as a jump guitar as a weapon. He doesn't play it at all until the very last cutscene.
Yeah, it's great!
Until the epilogue where you see him just, like, practicing.
Yeah, and it's just such a, like, he's like, well, I guess I should probably learn how to play a guitar in case this whole, like, brand ambassador thing doesn't work out.
Which, also, I mean, this is getting into some real, Watsonian or Doyleist aspect of it, but, like, thank God it was his right arm that needed replacing, because you can't finger a guitar with your with robotic fingers. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
He's got a pick built into his thumb now.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
I saw him like get the robot arm, and I saw it had 3 fingers, and I'm like, oh, I hope this kid ain't left-handed. That would suck for him.
That would be really bad. Yeah, that would be really bad, man. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, it all worked out. Extremely just like I don't know. They just do that whole arc of his really well for like kind of the extremely simple story that Hi-Fi Rush is telling, right? There's no real big twists and turns in any part of Hi-Fi Rush that like catch you off guard or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest twist is that Roxanne is alive.
Yeah, I thought for sure that she was dead, right? Yeah. Like, I'm like, oh no, she died. Oh no, she's still kicking. But I mean, I guess, you know what? That makes sense too. It's that kind of a game where they're just kind of, it's a little bit, everything's taking it a little bit easier. Mm-hmm. And it means for Hi-Fi Rush 2, because he didn't kill his mom, Kale can come back.
Yeah.
I'm pointing at the stands and saying that one's happening.
Hi-Fi Rush 2 should just have Kale mode, like you get for unlocking Virgil in DMC3.
I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna have the cool the rival character who walks towards you slowly, you gotta have a mode where you can play as him, even if it doesn't have, even if it's not like a story mode and you're just going through the levels again as like the rival character. You gotta, right? Mm-hmm. You gotta. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just picturing like you fight Kale, but he's got Chai's color scheme.
Yeah, he'd also just be a red Virgil then. Yeah, because Chai is also predominantly red. Now that I think about it.
Hello. Okay, anyway, like
really glad. I really thought we had lost the whole episode right there.
I don't want to lose this one. This one's good. But no, like I said, like just Kale and Chai's color scheme, like red Virgil.
Yeah, it'd be great, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, no, we need that. We just really need a sequel. Just overall, just for all of the minor revisions that this game could take and just run with.
I do also want a sequel just so that we can see more of Roxanne. I want to imagine that she's just like the kind of like weird, crazy philanthropist who just throws millions of dollars at anything that she finds interesting.
Sure. Yeah, totally.
Just like she regularly like a waitress makes her laugh at a restaurant, so she just pays off her tuition.
Yeah, she just cuts her a check for $150,000 right there. It's like, there you go, sweetie, and it's like, thank you.
Like Chai mentions that he doesn't get paid, you know, as an ambassador, but like I imagine like Roxanne gives him an allowance.
Yeah, it's just like a mom.
Yeah.
Technically, he's not getting paid, but like, yes, he is.
Just like Chai's like, I don't get paid for this, and Peppermint's like, my mom gives you $10,000 a week.
It's not that. It's that he doesn't get paid for it, but he just has a company card and he spends on it constantly, but doesn't think about what that means. Mm-hmm. He's just like, Chai, how do you pay your rent? Well, I use the company card. And how do you buy food? Well, I use the company card. Why are you asking me this, Pepper?
Miss Vandelay said I can just use this card and I don't have to pay for anything. And Peppermint's like, that's technically true.
I guess that's technically true. I guess you're technically not getting paid. You just... Never mind, it's fine. No, totally.
Yeah, but no, I mean, like, this game just brings me so much joy just thinking about it.
Makes you happy.
Yeah, what a fantastic start to this year.
Didn't even mention, but just to shout it out real fast. What great transitions between cutscene to gameplay.
Oh my god, we didn't even talk about how there's like 4 different cutscene styles in this game.
There's 4 different cutscene styles. They all look great, and they all like flow into each other extremely well.
Yeah.
That kind of ties into like the way the game looks, so it's okay. Mm-hmm. The game looks great. The cutscenes look good. Just the transitions are so smooth and impressive, you know?
Yeah, you get that, like, you get 2D to like immediate like in-game 3D models, like with just like a quick camera pan. It's brilliant.
It's great. It's fantastic. I love it. So
I want like an animated short or like a mini series for this,
just like a little even just a small like 20-minute something or other, right?
Yeah. I want them to fully embrace the fact that this feels like a fucking Cartoon Network action show.
Yeah, and just put out like one episode that kind of has those vibes. Yeah, totally.
Put out a pilot,
Yeah, and that's it. But don't go any further, and then just like have the pilot lead to Hi-Fi Rush 2, right?
Yeah,
that's it. That's all it needs.
Ooh, that'd be good promotion material.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah,
that's an easy W. You can have that one for free, Tango. Yeah. So that's. I mean, again, otherwise we'll just keep repeating ourselves.
Yeah.
But folks, if you can't tell, Hi-Fi Rush is good. You should play it.
Yeah, you should definitely, like, if you're interested in any kind of like character action, and again, this is probably the easiest to get into.
Oh yeah.
Like it's designed. It's not designed to hold your hand, but it's designed to not hold you back.
Right.
Like other character actions are designed to be hard no matter what.
Sure, absolutely.
This one is very much designed to be like, it's hard, but like it wants you to make sure that you are comfortable with what you're doing.
Right. Yeah, and it's an easy one to kind of wade into and get familiar with and really get good at and enjoy a lot. Like it's easy to play. It's fun. It's very smooth. It has a really good kind of flow of action, right? And yeah, I just really like it. So
yeah, I think that's about it. Do you have any final lingering thoughts?
No. I'm trying to think. I'm sure I'll think of one as soon as we finish recording.
Right.
All the character designs are really good. All of the character designs are extremely solid. That ties again back into the art, but I think everybody just looks great. Just like a really fun kind of melange of character designs, and I like it a lot. I really like, even the villains have like amazing designs. Yeah.
I'm always a big fan of theme naming.
Theme naming is good. I'm sorry. I'm a sucker for it. The only thing the only one I don't get is Corsica. Is that food?
I looked it up, but I can't remember what it is now. It is, it's an island in the Mediterranean. So I don't know if there's like a food that's also named after it. Is it like a Corsica salad? I think it's the only one that I really don't get. Everything else I get, because macaron and chai and peppermint, that's like tea and tea adjacent things. Peppermint tea, you have macarons with your tea, etc., etc. Corsica is the only one I don't get. Kale is a leafy green. Yeah. Mimosa is an alcoholic beverage. Sure, absolutely. Roquefort is a type of sandwich, I think. Yeah. I don't think Zanzo is anything. All right, there's my other complaint about the game is you've really got to tighten up your themed naming here. Yeah. Roxanne is also not like anything. That's just a regular name. Roxanne is just a lady's name, we gotta... Sanzo is a brand of sparkling water. So maybe they couldn't in Japan. Maybe they couldn't, because it's a brand name. Maybe they're like Zanzo instead. I don't know. That's all I can think. I do like that, the theme naming for chai, peppermint, macaron, and cinnamon. In a game that just feels like an energy drink turned into a video game. Yeah. They're teas. They're teas. They just have little cute tea names. How charming. How nice. A chai tea. A chai latte. Tea. You have a macaron with your tea. Yeah, a cinnamon macaron. Yes. How nice. Meanwhile, then you go back to play the game and fucking Invaders Must Die comes on. Yeah, of course. Exactly. It's fine. Yeah, that's my other complaint then is tighten up your naming convention. Yeah, folks. Everyone should be it. Everyone should have it. Everybody has to listen, if you're gonna have themed naming, everybody's gotta have a themed name. You've gotta commit to the bit. And with a cast that is as admittedly as limited as this one is. It's a small cast. You can totally give everybody a name, right? A themed name. Yeah. So that's it. That's my complaint. Yeah. There you go. Shorten the game by 20%. Get your themed namings right. There you go. Yeah. I look forward to Hi-Fi Rush 2, where Corsica has inexplicably changed her name. Oh, you know what? Corsica is a type of tea. Is it? Yes. Okay. According to TV tropes. Okay.
All right, then. So,
yeah, so she
fine.
does
Corsica
count.
can stay. She can stay. It's fine.
Okay. But, like, Rekka, as much as I like Rekka being a fighting game term, I don't think she's a food.
That's not it. I guess it's a knuckle sandwich.
Kind of.
Finger gunning's as hard as I physically can over here.
Oh, no, I'm wrong. We're wrong again. Rekka is a type of ramen. It's a type of spicy ramen.
Ha! Fantastic.
Okay, so it's everyone. It's everyone except for Roxanne.
Well, sure. Surely there's some sort of Roxanne theme. Like, thing of food. You know what? It's fine.
It's fine. It is fine. But everyone else besides her gets it.
Okay. Everybody else gets it. All right, then. Fine.
Yeah.
All right. Criticism rescinded.
Yes.
I guess you're almost perfect. Hi-Fi Rush. Congratulations.
Okay, so yeah, now I think I am tapped out for now.
Cool. We did it. Fantastic.
No, shit. Fuck it. One more thing.
Okay.
One more thing. Sorry. The 2 times where the game looks at you and goes, "Yeah, we had to cut this."
when you've got to get to the canon, you mean?
And it's just, and they're like, and it just turns into a Xenogears parody.
Yeah, it's extremely funny to me. Where like you get to the cannon that's supposed to launch you at like Vandalay Tower, and like everyone's like, "That was amazing, Shai!"
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that. That could never be repeated.
The funniest fucking gag ever.
When you escape from Zanzo, and because like which I love Zanzo's level gimmick, by the way, where you are not defeating him, you are costing him money.
Yeah, absolutely, getting him shut down. Yeah,
where the robot can't operate because the budget is he's over budget now. If you talk to Cinnamon afterward, he's like, "I felt bad. Someone worked really, really hard on that robot, and they never got a chance to show it off."
No, the robot comes back at the end of the game.
No, but that's like no, it's not that robot. It's the one that when you rescue Corsica, and the giant robot, you don't get to fight it. You escape from it.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
and that's when Cinnamon's like, "Someone worked really, really hard on that, and they didn't get to actually fight it. It seems kind of disappointing." And Chai's like, "I don't know, whatever." Someone on Twitter was like, "Yeah, I designed that robot, and we had to cut a boss fight, so that's what we did instead."
Oh no! That makes sense. That's funny. Oh, that's really good. Yeah, no, the bit with getting to the town, because like it happened so abruptly that I was like, "What the fuck just happened? Did I miss something?"
Yeah.
Very good. 10 out of 10, A plus. Great gag. Well done, everybody.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm done. Now I'm done for real.
Okay, play Hi-Fi Rush. It's $30. Play Hi-Fi Rush. It's impossible to spoil because the plot is very simple. So just go play it, enjoy it. It's really good. Yeah, it's super worth your time. And if a bunch of people buy it, then they'll make a second one, which will be perfect.
That's what we all want that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you to Broke Free for use of background music. You can follow me on Twitter at The Gorge Podcast. You can follow Sara at radioinactivity. You can email us at thegorgepodcast@gmail.com. Sara, what do you got? This is hard.
Because there's so many good things in the game.
There isn't even like a level that I didn't like, you know?
Yeah, I guess I will say, fuck the fact that Rogue 4's boss fight has 3 stages. You could have cut one of those stages, guys. You
could have cut one. You could have just put the whole fight in the Scrooge McDuck money bin.
Yeah, that honestly would have been better. You probably should have done that. Oh yeah, and the bit in the Rogue 4 fight where he's not in wolf mode and he's like running away from you. That part just sucks. That's just
I don't really like chasing enemies like that.
I don't like chasing enemies down like that because it just kind of throws off your whole flow, right? Like, and the game is about maintaining like a rhythm and stuff. So yeah, I think fuck that whole bit. Like, the fight itself is really cool. And, boss design is like really good. But
it fucking is.
It's really fucking solid. It's very just like, oh shit, okay, he's like a cool robot wolf. I see. The bit where Chai gets mad at Corsica because he's like, it's not just a saying, Corsica, is really good. Yeah, no, but like they should, like you said, the whole thing should have been the Scrooge McDuck vault because that would have been cool. And it didn't need to have 3 stages. It's just one of those things where it's like, okay, you've overstayed your welcome. Come on, we got to wrap this up.
I felt it really, really hard in that one and in Moses' fight. Where I'm just like, all right, time to finish this.
Come on, we've been here. It's 1 a.m. game. I would like to go to bed now. That's it. But otherwise, I mean, there's really nothing else to say.
That's like the mildest fuck you we've ever done.
It's such a nothing fuck you. So like, congratulations, Hi-Fi Rush, you did it.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.